Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this lecture of functions, we'll be dealing with the understanding of local and global variables. We'll understand the vicinity, the scope of a local variable. We'll see the impact of the global variable, that is the changes made to the global variables by a function. Are those changes visible in another function, or are those changes visible in the main function? Because the concept can be clear only through running programs. So let us move to the computer.
In this lecture, we will be understanding what are the local variables and what are global variables, how they are defined and what is their visibility, and we'll be doing it practically through running programs. Like for example, this is the program for local and global variables. I am running it. This is the output. So you will understand how the value of x in this function is 5 and how it has changed to 50. We'll be doing many programs for that. So watch the video up till the end. Let us start. See, by the name only it is very clear that the variable which is defined within a function, it is called as a local variable. What it means that the changes made by the function to that local variable, those changes will be realized, will be visible inside that function only. The moment control goes back to the main function or to some other function, the changes made by a function where it was locally defined, those changes will be lost. That is, the visibility of the local variable is confined within the function where it is defined. Got it? You can do whatever the changes in the function, display it, whatever you do, but the moment control goes back to another function or to the main function, all the changes are lost. Whereas the global variable is a variable which is not defined in any function. It is defined outside the function, and the changes made by any function, those changes can be seen in different functions also and in the main function also. See, here's a program. Here you define x equal to 10. This 10 is not defined in any function, so it is a global variable. You are invoking compute method, right? And you are taking x as a parameter. That x will be assigned to this variable x. You are writing x plus equal to 5. See, have you used the global x as a keyword? You haven't used any global keyword here, right? So this parameter x which is assigned to this x is local here now. Whatever changes this function will make, those changes will be lost the moment control goes back to the main function, right? So this value 10 is assigned to this x parameter. You are making the value of x equal to 15. Value of x in function is 15 is displayed. You are going back to the main function. Here when you display the value of x, it will still display 10 because here x is a local variable. Got it? Now I'll just copy it, paste it in Spider ID. I'm running it. I just let you know how to make it global immediately. Value of x in function is 15. Now you come back to the main function. Value of x is still 10 because this x is a local variable here. Okay. Now, how to make a function to use a global variable? You have to just write global x. Now see what will happen. The value of x is 10. By writing global x, you are telling Python that I will be using x which is globally defined. So you don't have to even pass x as a parameter even. See, this x is not required now. X is not passed as a parameter. Now what will happen? Global x means I will be using the variable which is globally defined. You made it 15, okay. Value of x in function is 15. Now you are going back to the main function. Because this function has used a global variable x, the changes will be seen here also in the main function. Value of x is still 15. See, the value of x is 15 in both the cases, in the function as well as in the main function also. Got it? Now see this program. See, you define x as a global variable, right? You are invoking compute method. By writing global x, you told the Python that I will be using the variable which is globally defined. That is, I will be using x equal to 0 here now. Value of x in compute function is 0. You are making the changes to this variable x. That means these changes will be seen by other methods also and by the main function also, right? So the value of x has become 5. You added 5 to the value of x. You are going back to the main function. Here if I write print the value of x, it will display 5. Though the changes have been made by the compute method, but the changes were not made to any local variable, they were made to the global variable. Okay. Now you are invoking the disk value method, control will come over here. Again you are telling Python that I want to use the global variable x. The value of global variable x is made 5. You are displaying the value of x it will get you the value 5. Now you are subtracting value 2 from the global variable x. So the value of x will become 3. You are going back to the main function. If you display the value of x here, it will display the value 3. But you are calling compute method. Again you are confirming that you are going to use the global variable x, which has become 3. Value of x in compute function is 3. You are adding 5 to 3. So the value of x will become 8. You are going back to the main function. From there you are invoking this value function. You are confirming that you will be using the global variable x. Value of x in this value is 8. You are deducting value 2 from 8. The value of x will become 6. You are going back to the main function. Okay, so let's copy this. See. So the global variable is the one which can be used in any function, and the changes made by any function can be seen in other function and in the main function also. Now let us understand this program. You have globally defined the variable x as 5. See, let me tell you, whether you define it above any function or you define outside any function, it is a global variable only. Okay, you are invoking compute method. You've gone over here. Are you defining the value of x? No. See, if I write x is equal to 10, suppose. See, if I redefine the value of x, it will become local here. Got it? That is, the changes made by this function will be confined to this function only. See, if you are calling compute method and you redefining the value of x, it will become local. Okay. So value of x is 10. You are making it 15. When you go back to the main function, those changes will be lost. So when you display x here, it will display 0 only, because the changes made by compute are made to the local variable x. I am running it. See, the value of x in compute function is 10 and the value of this value is 0, because the changes made by compute are applied to the local variable. So these are the points which will define local and global variables. If a variable is defined or created inside a function, they are local variables, and the changes made to that variable are confined to that function only. Now see, this is the main point. If you are defining a variable with the same name as a global variable, still it will be known as a local variable within a function. So the name doesn't matter. If it is redefined in a function, it will be called as a local variable, whether the same variable exists as a global variable or not. Okay. Now what are global variables? The variables which are defined outside a function are global by default, and you don't have to define a global keyword for that. Okay. And that global variable can be used inside a function, can be used outside a function. And while using global variable inside a function, you have to use the global keyword. Okay. Now let us understand this last program. See, you define a global variable x which is initialized to value 5. You are invoking compute method. Control will come over here. You are not redefining a variable. You are not initializing a variable. So it will take the global variable x. Value of x in compute function is, it is display 5. So it is using a global variable because you are not redefining any variable here, or you are not initializing any variable in the function. Okay. Now you are invoking calculate function. Control will come over here. See, you are defining a local variable here. Whether the name of this variable is same as a global variable, still this will be considered as a local variable, and its changes will be confined within this function only. Value of x in calculate function is 50. You are subtracting value 10, making the value of x as 40. But the value of x equal to 40 is visible only in this function. The moment control goes back to the main function, see, there is no return, but still it is considered to be there. Control will go back to the main function. Value of x in main function is, it will still display 5, because the changes made to the variable x here were locally. Okay. You are invoking this value method. Control will come over here. Here you are confirming that you want to use the global variable x, that is this. So it will pick up the value 5. Value of x in this value function is 5. You are subtracting value 2, making it 3. Control is invoking the compute method again. You are using the global variable x. It will display the value of x as 3, because you have subtracted value 2 from x. Okay. Now you are again invoking calculate function. It will reinitialize a local variable as 50. Value of x in calculate function is 50. It will make it 40, but of no use again. You are invoking the disValue method. control will jump to this function, global variable x, which has become 3. The value of x in this value function is 3. You are subtracting value 2 from 3, it will become 1, and the control goes back to the main function. So let us copy this program. Control C to copy it. I'll come here, Control A to select and delete, and I'm running it. See, from here you can see. This was the lecture 15D. We already discussed that because functions is a very huge topic in Python, there are 9 lectures of functions. The 3 lectures we have already seen. 15A was explaining how the position arguments are passed to the function. 15B explained how to find whether the string is palindrome or not. 15C was to find the Fibonacci number, to display the nth Fibonacci number. This 15D is for displaying local variable, which we've just learned. And if you want, you can directly jump to the desired lecture. Okay. If you have understood this lecture, kindly subscribe to my channel, write comments and share the video with your friends. Thanks for watching the video. Have a nice day.